And so to kind of start at the beginning of this, April of 2022, my dad passed away. I was there for his last moments. I kind of had to pull the cord on him. He was sickly, but when my dad passed away, we finally got his ashes. I think that summer, like it was like we went to the museum in May, and I think I got my dad's ashes in June. And my dad was a logger, and he didn't get along with law enforcement very well. I don't think a lot of loggers did back in the day. They were kind of rough and tumble and drinkers, and they just it was a logging lifestyle.
It's a different lifestyle.
So we ended up with my dad's ashes, and not long after that, we started experiencing paranormal activity in our house.
Yeah, and we have this little toy police car that the kids have, and it's not motion activated. You actually have to push the little light bar down to get it to go off, and you have to push it pretty hard. Half the time it doesn't go off because it's kind of old and beat up.
Yeah.
But watching TV late at night, she was gone at work on shift on the ambulance, so I was home with the kids, and I'm watching TV, and I'm watching a show that actually is logging. It's a show out of Canada where they're following loggers around, and they had mentioned something about the Fish and Game or the Forest Cops or something like that had been mentioned on the TV, and sure as heck that thing went off.
Yep. And my dad was kind of a late person, so I think this stuff started happening around 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. After 11 o'clock, because my dad, he would stay up really late, and I didn't get to see that part of it. And then you talked about the spices falling off the shelves and stuff like that, and things falling out of the pantry.
Well, the weird thing is here we have our one camera.
Yeah.
Right. We got our spirit box, and I think we actually had by that point bought one of those light up EMF meters.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this thing goes off, and it kind of startles me, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I gotta capture this. So I run out to the bedroom and get all the stuff and bring it out to the living room and get it set up, and nothing. I must have spent an hour asking questions and doing this, not having any clue how to do it or what to do.
Yeah.
With nothing. So it's well, maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. But then that's when the spices and stuff started to fall.
Yeah.
Stuff out of the pantry started to fall down.
Yep.
More toys going off.
Yeah, and then I think the first time that my first toy incident was, we have a ball for the kids that has ABCs on it, and you have to hit it pretty hard for the ABC to go off. It'll just go A, B, C, and that's all it does. There's no laughing. There's no animals barking or cats meowing. It's just, but you have to hit it. I thought it was kind of hard and weird that it would be such a complicated toy to make go off. But I think Ryan was sitting on the couch, and I was walking across the living room, and that ball was sitting there, and I just passed the ball, and a child laughed, and it came from the ball, and I just stopped in my tracks. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, and we both heard it, and it was like, well, really? Yeah, you were nowhere near touching it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we probably got our stuff out then, and probably nothing.
And nothing. Yeah.
But then over the course of the time, we did start getting a little bit of light anomalies. And we're at that point where is it bugs? Is it anomalies? Are they really orbs? Because there's a lot of, back and forth about whether orbs are real or not. And I do have on our YouTube channel a book that I read about orbs. So you can always go there and check it out. The book is interesting. Why not read it? I think it's pretty cool. But so kind of fast forward some more. 7 months later, my daughter was hit and killed here in town. And it was tragic. And we ended up bringing her ashes home.
Yeah, I mean, there was this, we're kind of condensing that time frame, but when something like that happens, there's a lot of red tape and stuff. So there was a lot of kind of time, months that it kind of spanned before we brought her ashes home. And
but going back to the empath part of it, the night before my daughter was killed, I had a dream, and I was to give you a little bit of idea about my daughter. She was autistic. She had a lot of trauma in her life, and she became homeless. Unfortunately, the state wouldn't let me step in and save her. So it was a lot of heartbreak over a matter of 6 years, So so I had this dream about her, and I'm running through these homeless camps that I'd been to before, and I was in a panic. And I was running and I was using foul language. I won't repeat what I was saying in my dream, but I was like, where is she? Where's Leanne? I can't find her. Where is she? And everybody's like, I don't know where she's at. And I came up on her boyfriend, her, homeless boyfriend. And I was like, Jason, where's Leanne? I have to find her. Where is she? And he's like, I don't know. And I just kept running. And then I find her. I don't want to get too graphic, but I guess it kind of, it's weird, but I don't know if you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs, where the officer gets killed in the jail cell when they have, whatever.
Hannibal.
There you go. Hannibal was in the jail cell and he ends up murdering the cop, and then he hangs him up like an angel, but I think he skinned him. But that's kind of how I found my daughter. She was hung up between two trees, and then I woke up. And then lo and behold, she calls me that next morning. And I wasn't going to go down to see her. And I was like, I'm going to go. So I go down, and we have that talk that most parents don't get. And I love you, we'll fix this. Things will get better. And, we came to some agreements, and then 4 hours later, she was gone. She got hit by a car and she was gone. So we brought her ashes home.
Mm-hmm.
And, somehow I ended up with her dad's ashes.
Well, we need to talk about also, we have the jewelry she was wearing.
Oh yeah.
And then we have a little piece of her hair.
Rings. We have a locket of her hair, the rings. The medics kept her alive long enough for us to get up to the hospital and see her and say our goodbyes. And once again, I had to make that decision. Well, I wanted everything pulled, take everything off. I don't want her on tubes. I don't want her on anything. This is it. She was brain dead. But so I did get to hold her hand until she passed. And I think that speaks volumes, because it's the same thing with my dad. I held his hand, and it was up to me to make those calls till the end. And I don't know, maybe there's some connection there that
I think so.
That kind of escalated the empath part of me and opened up that door a little bit more. Because after bringing Leanne's ashes home and Rick's ashes and my dad, things really escalated in our house.
Well, yeah, everything got a little more intense, a little bit more heavy.
Yeah. I was starting to get affected. I was having like kind of rages in the middle of the night, and for no good reason, and losing track of time. And the only way I can describe it is like when you space off. Like you're like, oh, I just spaced off. What an idiot. Where'd that time go? But I would lose that time though. And I would come out of it and I would be like really disorganized. Didn't know where to go from that moment. Like, should I wash dishes? Should I go sit down? I feel so tired and so confused. And I did get to the point where every day I was just exhausted.
And I kind of, from my brain is very analytical, and coming from a EMS and fire background, I kind of relate it to like watching your body language when you kind of go through that. It almost looks like focal seizure-ish.
Yeah.
Right? I know that's not really seizure-ish isn't a word, but it has an essence of almost like a focal seizure, but you're not staring.
Yeah, focal seizure is a seizure without having convulsions. You're not flopping around on the ground. Most of the time people wouldn't even know you're having a focal seizure.
But I mean, you're interactive, talking, walking, all that stuff, but just like the way your eyes look, the way your skin color changes, and then when we wrap things up and things kind of settle down for you, it's almost like a little bit of post-ictal where you're super tired.
Yeah.
Although you have, it's not a seizure, right? But I kind of relate to that's kind of probably how the same feelings are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just something that I've noticed, and I've got to the point where I can kind of key in onto that you're not feeling normal.